Hey everyone, it's your girl Lauren from the Ex-Wives Lounge podcast. Today we have a really special guest on. This was an episode I was super pumped about. He's a friend of the lounge. I want to welcome Taylor Hoyt. He is a sex therapist who works in a group of clinicians. He's also a berries instructor, so I'm sure his face will resonate with a lot of you berry groupies. Anyways, welcome to the lounge.
Thank you so much. Great
Thanks
to be
for
here.
being here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when I was planning on having you come in, I think one of the biggest things for me, because you kind of see what we've been filming at Coffee Dose and such, we're kind of in this segment of dating, intimacy, sex, all those fun things that people feel uncomfortable talking about. I am not, however. I think it's very important to be open, to be honest, and to have, honest, genuine dialogue about it because it's a big thing.
Yep.
So from what you have seen in your therapy years and the time you've spent with your patients, I should say, what is like the biggest mishap you're seeing when it comes to people's intimacy and their relationships in today's day and time?
Yeah.
What is lacking?
Communication. Just as you mentioned, right? There is, severe is a big word, but a big lack in communication.
Okay.
And by that, I mean expressing the needs and wants of what you as the individual desire and want when it comes to intimacy. Talking about what intimacy means to one another.
Right.
My definition of intimacy can be totally different from your definition of intimacy.
Right.
So having an understanding together, like, hey, I enjoy physical touch, or I need more emotional connection for intimacy.
Right.
Can get convoluted.
Right.
Where in maybe a typical hetero relationship, if we're going gender norms in that front, where a female is going to be more emotionally based and the man more physical, that's where you get that mix up, where there's ships in the night and they're speaking different languages.
Right.
So you get a male, who predominantly may think that, okay, I want to engage more in physical intimacy. Mm-hmm. We're not having sex.
Right.
Okay, well, here we are in therapy. This is our issue. We're not having sex. I would like to have more.
Right.
Wife speaks up, or female speaks up, partner, however it may be, and lets them know, like, this is what I am looking for, what I need.
Right.
To have more physical touch and
right.
intimacy in that way.
Right.
And that's where it takes some time to break down those walls for them to translate that to where each other are understanding that, right? So where one another getting those needs and hearing those needs and communicating them effectively.
Would you say that love language, even though it's so cliche, and I feel like love language is such a big deal, right? Yeah. It's even an option on dating apps, what your love language is.
Right.
Is it true?
There is some psychological valence to the love languages, absolutely. Okay. Yeah. There are what's called, and what I use in practice, intimacy deposits, and love languages can be a part of that. Got it. Intimacy deposit can be anything from a touch on the elbow, any sort of slight touch to your partner, letting them know, like, I acknowledge you, I see you.
Got it.
Right? That's a drop in that positive bucket.
Right.
And what you want and look for is building up that intimacy deposit so that you're in the green, like thinking about it like a bank account. When you're in the red, what happens when shit hits the fan?
Right.
You're still in the red.
Yes.
And it can be daunting, it can be scary, it can feel hopeless and helpless. When you've built that up and you're in the green or positive, well, sure, arguments, conflict is inevitable. We're human.
Yes.
And on top of that, conflict is manageable. We're not resolving it all, we're managing it. And so if you have conflict, argument, whatever it may be, well, if you've built up enough in those intimacy deposits, it will still have an impact, sure.
Right.
But you're just chipping away at what you've built up.
Right.
So,
do you think the dating apps, these, reality shows, the lust versus love issue, do you see a lot of that with couples that come in, that one person in the coupling is thinking that this is love to them, where the other person is looking at it and going, no, that's just lust?
Not so
much. When it comes to trying to get on the same page with, providing that, what they need to their partner.
Yeah, not so much as black and white as love and lust.
Okay.
Right? There's a lot more, the love is there.
Right.
What might be missing is the friendship. Right?
Yes.
And so if we're missing some friendship, that's what's the foundation in a relationship.
100%, I agree.
I'm trained in something called Gottman, the Gottman theory.
Okay.
And that's a lot of the work that they do is the sound relationship house. You have trust and commitment on either side. Those are your walls. And then the foundation is friendship.
Oh.
Right? So if you've got the love, it's awesome.
Right.
But if the friendship's missing and you don't know who your partner is anymore, where do you go?
True.
You know?
Yeah.
So lust can still be there.
Right.
You know, and it can look like I'm lusting after my partner.
Right.
Or lusting after a fantasy, what I see on TV, what might be shown in porn, if they engage in that, whatever it may be. And it's differentiating, you know, can I still fantasize over this and recognize that it is just that, it's a fantasy.
Right.
I can talk about it with my partner and let them know, like, hey, I want to engage in this, or I want to try something new.
Right.
Or you can still fantasize while you're having intimacy. It's not by any means what I would consider lust.
Right.
You know, who doesn't
Right.
fantasize? Or have you seen the movie The Wrong Missy?
No, I haven't.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Can I be crass on here? I mean, you
Yeah,
can
of
edit
course
it,
you
but,
can.
like,
Go for it.
they,
I don't. This is a full transparency podcast. Yeah.
Amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
What's called, I'm going to butcher it, face fucking or fuck facing. Basically, the gist of that is that in the movie, she says you're doing that and you're envisioning someone else while I'm on top, right?
Okay.
So like she's on top of him,
Right.
And she's like, "Oh, you're fuck facing me or face fucking me." That sounds awful,
So,
right? You're like,
she knows he's envisioning
yeah,
another woman when
fantasizing
he's
somebody
looking at
else,
her.
yeah, or even closing his eyes and
Got it.
you know what I mean?
Got it. Yes.
That can stir up some of that conversation that you're mentioning,
Totally.
like lust versus love.
Yes.
And again, the communication being a key point there to talk about that. Like, hey, I enjoy this, or me having this fantasy doesn't mean I don't love you.
Right.
You know?
Right.
There's no actions that are going to it. It's just that it lives in fantasy.
Right.
So,
Yeah, no, I think a lot of women would probably take a hit to their confidence level.
Sure.
And their pride.
Yeah.
Of like, why do you need to envision this other woman when
Yeah.
I'm the one that's, you know, trying to please you? Mm-hmm. So I can see that being a really big issue in a relationship.
But it's interesting that you say that. I'm trying to please you. Why is that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? That's a really good question to flip it.
I would implore more so, right? Like what is uncommon in intimacy and the lack of communication is talking about the needs of yourself
Instead of the other person.
So going back to what again I call being appropriately selfish and saying, hey, I really like when you kiss me here, or I really like when you touch me there, versus don't do that. I don't like that.
Got it.
Because then I work a lot with erectile dysfunction,
Okay.
ED. I work with the urologist that's local here. So I get some referrals from there, and they're predominantly 55 and up
Okay.
when it comes to that.
Okay.
So when you consider our parents, if you will, where their headspaces are and how, to put it nicely, like they're a little more rigid and set in their ways.
Oh, 100%.
You know?
Yeah.
So trying to communicate this sort of stuff with them can
Be a
be
bit of a process.
Yeah, exactly.
To say the least.
Very much so.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm sorry, I forgot what you had asked me. It was
No, it was more of just like, how do you see, you know, kind of the reality of being in 2025 and seeing where people are meeting people and seeing how I feel like in today's society, it's more of fantasy than it is, you know, really wanting to dig deep. And I don't know, does that come from like people's individual childhood traumas? You know, do you link a lot of these men or women that, let's say, have intimacy issues and can't really connect with their partner? Where does that stem from?
Yeah, it varies, right?
Okay.
Because those are two different things.
Right.
Intimacy issues and then communicating that with their partner.
Right.
And there was something else you said right before that, intimacy issues, and what was the thing right before? The fantasy, maybe. Fantasy versus intimacy issues. Those are different in my eyes.
Okay.
So the intimacy issues could stem from so many different things.
Okay.
Right? It could be the erectile dysfunction. It could be body dysmorphia and not feeling comfortably confident or confident at all in how you look. So then how are you going to want to be intimate and enjoy having sex with your partner?
Right.
If you're not even comfortable in your own body.
Because then you don't feel comfortable presenting yourself in a certain way.
Yes. So then if we're going to connect the dots there with fantasy, that could instill some doubt,
Right.
some fear.
Right.
Whatever it may be, if you notice your partner is fantasizing about something else or somebody else. But that is something where we have to come back to the communication
Right.
and say, hey, I feel uncomfortable in my body. it's me. It's not you. It's me. But I enjoy doing this. So if you want, right, I can perform oral, or we can do hand job. I struggle, honestly, with like...
Let's throw out those big terms, Taylor. Let's just get really into it.
Honestly.
How can you talk about sex therapy? Yeah. How can you get into sex therapy, really? Like sex therapy 101, unless you're being real about everything.
100%.
You can't.
Yeah, you can't.
It's not something you tiptoe around.
No.
It's a very real subject. It's a very real topic.
And absolutely respect what boundaries people may have if they struggle with talking about it. But then that therein, to me, is a problem or potential problem. It's like, well, if you can't talk about it here in this safe space, for lack of a better term, how do you expect to be able to communicate this with your partner, and someone that you love, and you built this trust, and however long you've been together with them?
Yes.
So it is getting to that point where you're getting a little uncomfortable as a client, if you will, about talking about sex, intimacy, what you enjoy, you know, like for us. And maybe it's a generational thing. We are a bit more sex positive, and we have access to these things. You know, when social media came about, however many years ago, 12 plus years ago, I was at that age of graduating high school. So Facebook, MySpace, Instagram, all kind of came out around the time, right? TBT. Yes. It's Thursday, so TBT.
I thought you were a lot younger than me, but you just threw out the MySpace.
I'm going to be 38 next week.
Oh, okay.
In 2 weeks.
You're trailing. You're trailing right behind me.
Yeah. So I've been there, done that, seen some things, done some things, experienced it all. I'm a curious cat.
You've lived. Yeah,
I've lived. And I'm a big proponent and advocate of that. You know, and a lot of times people are fearful of living.
Yes.
And I get that.
That's judgment, though.
Sure.
Fearful of the judgment. Fearful of the judgment.
And also being thwarted by if they experience anxiety, OCD. You know, there are personality disorders or features that can prohibit people from living life to the fullest or to what they want for themselves in that capacity.
Right.
So it's a lot of intersected work that happens to be able to move past that and kind of dig deep.
Have you ever had clientele that is OCD and you see it playing out into their intimate life?
Personally, no. I don't work with OCD. Predominantly because I don't experience it, so it's hard for me to
connect to it.
Yeah, exactly. I can get trained in it and do some ERP, which is exposure therapy, all that sort of work, and at least consult with clients, consult with colleagues. Right. Should I have a client that might display some OCD tendencies or some features, but I haven't worked personally with anyone who is OCD.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just know that intimacy obviously is such a big component of a relationship. And I feel like a lot of times too, a big reason why marriages break down is because of that lack of intimacy. But then, like you said, it's because they're not communicating. And instead of communicating, they're building up resentment towards that other person, expecting that other person to like read their mind.
Right.
And be a mind reader.
Right.
Of, well, didn't you know I needed this? Didn't you know that I needed you to be more creative or try this out? Someone can't read your mind, even if they are your significant other and your partner.
So how do you rectify that?
Right, exactly.
Communicate it. Express your needs and wants.
Yes.
Emotionally. Intimately.
Yep.
Sexually.
Yep.
Whatever it may be, speak up.
Do you normally give homework to your clientele?
I do. I love prescribing homework.
What are some examples of things that you send them home to do?
Can you be more specific in terms of like the kind of work?
You know, are there questionnaires that you send each of them home with where they have to sit down and dig deep and start answering questions about whether it be like traumas in their life, or is it pretty more superficial based?
No, I don't feel like anything is superficial based in that front. It's more so going back to the Gottman, if I am working with couples, so I work with couples as well. I guess I can explain the work that I do. Having sex therapy as a specialty means that I have this great skill set and ability and openness working with everything under the sun regarding to sex, intimacy, etc. Whether that's the kink community, the queer community, so LGBTQ+, erectile dysfunction, sexual trauma, so lack of intimacy, all that sort of stuff. Right. When working with couples, when it comes to utilizing Gottman, there's a lot that can be said about said communication, and there's an assessment that can be sent out.
Okay.
So if I work with couples and they're dealing with intimacy issues,
Right.
that could also be infertility, right?
That's a big one.
Yeah. So infertility, navigating that, but also having erectile dysfunction that can lead to the infertility. So there's a lot of
see.
frustration there.
Yes.
It digs deep.
Yeah.
These assessments are real deep.
Okay.
And they're meant to be that way.
Right.
Because you really want to find out what is making you as the individual tick, and then where you guys are misaligning in the relationship.
Right. Where the disconnect is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you might think that the relationship's going fine. It's honky-dory. Your husband, partner, whoever is chugging along and be like, I don't feel comfortable talking to Lauren about this. I don't feel safe. Or I don't feel like she listens to me, or whatever it may be.
Right.
And then again, you're living blissfully in your own world together, though,
Right.
thinking that things are great.
Right.
Meanwhile, your partner could be, like you mentioned, building resentment, or just chugging along and being like, huh, like kind of like Eeyore, you know what I mean? Like, wah, 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 I'm existing, I'm carrying on.
Right.
But there's a little bit of this gray cloud and rain following me around. And then it builds.
Yes.
It can build, excuse me.
100%.
So.
Would you agree that there's a difference between listening and hearing somebody?
Tell me what listening is to you.
To me, listening is you're just sitting there and you're listening, but it's going through one ear and out the other. It's not registering. It's not sticking.
Yep.
Whereas when you're genuinely actively hearing somebody, you're almost in your mind validating what you're internalizing from the conversation with your partner.
Yeah.
You're hearing them.
Yeah.
You're hearing the emotion behind their words. You're hearing where they're coming from.
And I love that.
Yeah.
What I would suggest and expound upon that is why internalize it in the validation of what your partner is saying and externalize it, vocalize
show
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Validation's huge.
Yeah.
Validate what someone might be feeling.
Right.
Because we're not them, so we can't tell them how they're feeling. And that's often what I face is pointing the finger. You made me feel mad. You made me upset. So we're not going to have sex.
And then sex becomes a control.
Yep. And then it's the carrot that's dangled.
Totally.
The old bait and switch. And then we create
Big, huge
different
issues.
habits that are
Yeah.
either making something small that's even bigger and bigger and bigger. So we're having this ripple effect.
Right.
Or we're going to nip it in the bud and be like, ooh, I don't like that. You know? So going off of that, coincidentally, is some of the homework would be what's called rapport building.
Okay.
And it's exactly that. An intervention and a tool for partners to sit down, have someone who's a speaker.
Right.
Someone who's an active listener, much like we're doing now.
Yeah.
You know, undivided attention. And what that looks like is whoever's the speaker, if you have a gridlock problem, is predominantly where this comes into play. But I prescribe it, honestly, more often than not.
Okay.
To be able to have folks understand that you can create this space to express your needs and wants.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be a gridlock problem all the time, but it can be something what anyone else might view as like minute and trivial,
right?
But to you, it's not, and you want
to you, it's big.
Yeah, and you want this person that you care about to hear you. Someone who's a speaker will discuss what their needs and wants are.
Right.
Right. Like whatever it is, like, hey, I would really love to spend more time with you. It feels like for me, each day goes by and we get further and further apart, and it hurts me. Right. Using I statements. I'm a big proponent of how do you feel,
right,
instead of telling your partner what they're doing
wrong.
Yeah. Be curious about your own emotions.
Yes.
Express
because how
that.
can you give to somebody if you're not in tune with what you need?
Totally.
Right?
Yeah. So then how can you attune towards someone else if you're not even doing that for you?
For yourself.
So 100% exactly like that.
Yeah.
The listener then sits quiet, right? And much like we're doing now, just actively paying attention. Here's the catch is afterwards, the listener repeats back what the speaker said.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. To the satisfaction of the speaker.
It's a good test.
To the satisfaction of the speaker. Yeah. Because now it's giving both an opportunity for you to tell me what it is that I want and need.
Right.
And for you to repeat it to me to where I'm like, yep, you heard me.
Right.
Not just listen to me. And then you flip the script and reverse roles.
See, I think a big proponent of all of this disconnect too when it comes to intimacy boils down to a lot of self-awareness. And
completely agree.
I feel like there's a lot of that's lacking a lot in today's Gen Z millennial generations.
Ooh, shit, yeah.
of any age, right? It doesn't matter how old they are. I just feel like self-awareness is not a thing anymore.
Yeah, a lot of sensitivity, in my opinion.
Very much so.
I've witnessed and seen, not just in therapy, but in real life.
A lot of like
dating and all that stuff.
Everyone being defensive.
Yeah.
Automatically.
100%.
Automatically.
Yeah, 100%.
Not just taking a breath, kicking back and listening, right?
And defensiveness is one of the what's in going back to Gottman. I'm sorry, I'm bringing Gottman up a lot, but 4 horsemen of the apocalypse when it comes to like what can lead to the breakup of a relationship or a marriage. Defensiveness.
Yes.
Criticism. Contempt.
Yes. Yep.
So when we're defensive, what can be done?
Right.
We're quickly putting that wall up and be, whoa, no, not me. Where is that self-awareness? Where's the acknowledgement that maybe this is what I did, or that there is something for me to be curious about, to think about for my partner?
Yes. I think that's a big thing in relationships nowadays.
I would agree.
That I'm seeing is really lacking. I mean, whether it's in marriages or it's in, dating relationships, it seems like everything is very much like everything's a you problem. It's not a me problem.
Yeah.
It's all you.
Yes.
This relationship would have lasted if it weren't for you.
Yeah.
Everything that's wrong in this relationship is because, A, B, C, and D, and it all has to do with
you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. No. So what I love having each of my guests kind of just talk about, and I think this is so amazing, is the fact that you want to help people, right? So where does this need and want to help people come from? Is this something you experienced in your childhood, or what paved this path for you in this sex therapy world?
Yeah, fantastic question. I grew up in a very loving household. My parents are fantastic. Both my parents are very compassionate. My mom is really, really compassionate. So I think that was something that I really admired and looked up to and felt. I'm a very empathic person. So I feel a lot.
You take on people's energies.
Yeah, I internalized a lot as a kid and understand what that was, what that meant. Also understanding ADHD. I do have ADHD. Nothing wrong with that either. Not knowing what it was, because it's a spectrum.
Yes.
So as we understand this, a lot of people think the stereotypical cliche, at least for me, us, if you will, what ADHD looked like when we were growing up. And it was like, I asked some friends that are our age, and they're like, oh, I don't have ADHD. I'm not the kid that was in class being rowdy.
The problem child.
Yeah, exactly. The problem child. Or the kid that had to go to resource classes or whatever.
Right.
It's all about learning.
It is.
And so as I've grown and evolved and then gotten into the work, especially understanding that part of life, but then also innately having the desire to help people.
Right.
And what that could look like, I floundered a lot with career choices, if I'm being completely honest. I worked in fitness for almost a decade now. You
were at SoulCycle prior?
Yeah, I was at SoulCycle prior in management. And then always wanted to, I'm shy. I'm very shy.
What?
Yeah, surprise.
You?
Yeah, I might have big Leo energy, but I am surprised.
Are you a Leo?
Yeah.
Oh, Leos are the best.
I agree. Thank you.
That's what I want in my next partner.
Yeah, right?
I'm manifesting a Leo.
Okay, I'm going to manifest that for you as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I call myself an extroverted introvert, right? Okay. And it's all part of the theory of identity. I've made talks about that on stories, case in point. If you were to look at my Instagram, it's curated on purpose of pictures. It's all of me, right? Purposely. Because I enjoy having that creative outlet and then doing whatever I want with that, styling it in some sort of way, modeling it, if you will, however I want.
Yep.
Having done things that do require me to in this day and age with content creation, which is awesome. So it allows me that outlet.
Yes.
I had never spoken, this being the first podcast, right?
Well, I feel super honored.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I do too. So I appreciate it. Yeah. I had never spoken on Instagram until 2 months ago.
Really?
Yeah, and my aunt really encouraged me. I'm grateful for her to kind of give me that kick in the pants, be like, hey, people want to connect with you.
Yeah.
Because you see, if you look at Instagram, it's like Instagram versus reality, right? It's like going on dates. I always I do talk about this. I'm like, people will make comments about, well, your Instagram, this, that, and the other. I'm like, right. It's on purpose. It's curated.
Right.
I would hope most people understand that. And if we don't, then what Delulu world are you living in where you believe this to be 100% true?
Exactly who I am.
Don't get me wrong. There's truth in it. Yeah. Because it is me.
Yes.
And what I always say is if you know me, then you see that in there.
Right.
Yeah. That I'm not just this person who's posting pictures of himself, whatever it may be.
Because you're a narcissist.
Right. furthest thing from.
Self-indulgent.
A narcissist would say that, right? But
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I have body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
I lost weight. I worked really hard to get to where I wanted to be, and I'm doing it for myself.
Totally.
And it ebbs and flows, and it's hard because I still look at things. I'm like, ooh, like I looked better then, and this was like 6 months ago or whatever.
We're all very guilty of that.
Yeah,
I'm very
right.
much guilty of that, and I talk about that on the podcast.
Yeah.
You know, with girls and growing up in Orange County, where you're in a bathing suit the majority of the time all year round. You know, and there's a lot of pressure. But hearing it from a male perspective, there's a lot of pressure on men also to look a certain way, and I think that's very much overlooked.
I agree. Well, because historically speaking, men don't talk about their emotions, right? They don't get vulnerable.
Because that's vulnerability, and vulnerability equals weakness.
Yeah, it's femme. It's if culturally speaking, machismo, right?
Yes.
In the Latinx community, there's all these variables that are across the board, are prevalent in some way that basically are about masculinity, femininity, what that means, how that looks, and there's no right or wrong.
Right.
You know, it's just a matter of finding that balance and being okay with who you are as the individual and saying fuck it all. Fuck the constructs that exactly what they are. They're built by society. And then we all jump on the bandwagon because like who wants to be different?
But that's easy. Jumping on the bandwagon
Very
is easy. Going against the grain, you're an individual, you're going to get haters. You know, and I already knew starting this podcast I would get haters. I've already gotten haters.
I bet.
But in my mind, the people that love me, like you say, and genuinely know me and know why I'm doing this, that's all I give a shit about.
I was terrified to speak on camera.
I'm sure.
And it lives on my stories on purpose right now because it's live for 24 hours and that shit's gone. You know? What's really cool is that if people are talking shit, at least it's not to my face, which I'm grateful for. Or they're not leaving,
I want people to say it to my
comments.
face.
Honestly,
because I would love to be like,
knock on
really?
wood.
I'd be like, really? Okay, let's sit down and chat about it.
Yeah, 100%. I would love
talk
to
about
address
it. Let's
Yeah.
have this conversation go. I'm always open to hearing the other side of, you know, the aisle, so to speak, on like opinions about things. Right.
Hell yeah.
But it's funny that you bring up this whole like body dysmorphia and kind of almost being a character, so to speak, on social media. Right.
Well, and I'm also a character in class.
See,
you know, like I'll tell people, hey, theory of identity. Again, that was like, I think my first subject on my story when I spoke therapeutically. So let me backpedal. Going back to the Instagram and what's curated Instagram versus reality. People have a perception of who I am.
they think they know who you are.
They think they know who I am. Correct. Yeah. Barry's model, right? People may assume like, oh, I thought you're a model, which is great because then it makes me feel more confident in posting the shit that's just pointless and not having a good time because we're all building businesses. I got friends that are photographers. We're building our own portfolios. This day and age, consistency is key. Algorithms changing all the time. We can't keep up. So there's no rhyme or reason. Stay consistent. Have fun. Enjoy it if you do. Right? If you're loving it, what's stopping you from continuing to do it? Other than that fear. Fear of what other people think. People pleasing tendencies, fear of judgment. Right? We get validated, which is lovely. You know, so like there's times like, you know, as I have been consistent with this weekly, so it like gave me something to kind of be routine with. That can be part of my ADHD as well, where I'm like, cool, every Wednesday I'm in office. So at the end of my day, I'll have my topic, record it. And I'll talk about whatever it is and then post it on the story. And that's part of like my Wednesday wisdom, whatever it is. You know, big picture, right? Have a podcast as well. Have that whole mind-body connection discussion. I love the physical aspect, the mental aspect, and how they are intertwined and the impact that they have.
That's the amazing thing that you have the background in the physical with the soul cycle and the berries and how you intermingle that into your, you know, daily routine of being a sex therapist. It is that mind-body connection, right? And how that plays into intimacy and how that plays into self like confidence, you know?
And then recognizing that we're made up of parts.
Right.
I don't know how familiar you are with like parts work and if we're going therapy route, but
I'm open to all of it.
Like me teaching at Barry's is a part of me. Me being a therapist is another part of me. Social me is another part. Family man, right? All these things are just what are the building blocks.
You're a multi-layered person.
Oftentimes people have a hard time seeing past that. They're like, oh, no, you should be just this.
Well, they want to put you in a box. Because it makes them feel more comfortable. They don't know what to do with someone that's an individual.
Exactly.
I've heard that from so many people about myself.
Yeah.
Because this podcast is not a doom and gloom podcast. You know, you see a lot of like I think people see or hear the ex-wives lounge and they're like, oh, she must be sitting around talking shit about men all day long and bashing her ex-husband. Yeah. No, I'm here to inspire. So why am I going to sit here and be negative? Why am I not going to sit here and be uplifting?
Yeah.
And show the other side of life, which is be stoked. This is a new beginning for you. This is a new chapter for you. Right? And shifting that mindset.
500%. You took the words out of my mouth. It's about framing.
It is.
How you just frame that is completely different, right? Saying ex-wives lounge, the connotation could be exactly that. Oh, she's going to talk shit. She hates men.
Right.
She wants to just air out all this dirty laundry.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. We all have we're human.
Of course.
Right? Like there's shit I've done in relationships and otherwise where I'm like, ooh, whatever. Been there, done that, lesson learned.
Yes.
Right? If we repeat it, and then we're upset with ourselves, that's where I beg the question as to why, you know, or framing it differently to be like, hey, you now have this opportunity to flip the script. What does ex-wives mean to somebody else now that you have this now new experience for yourself to figure out what you want?
To show growth.
And
that was the biggest thing for me. Is I did EMDR for 2 years.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Okay.
I'm a huge proponent of therapy.
Awesome.
My daughter goes to play therapy once a week.
Love it.
And, you know, I am the biggest fan of any type of therapy. Very open-minded to it. I was raised around it. I know a lot of people are not. But for me, it was just like second nature. And you know, I wanted this podcast to be a place of growth. I wanted this podcast to be a place of people watching it and opening their minds and maybe looking at life a little bit differently. And if I can have that impact or I can have that effect on somebody, man, what an honor.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think to that point, just one person validating that, right, is enough to keep it going for 100%. Me at least, right? Like I have friends from high school or people I haven't talked to in years who I didn't even know like paid attention, you know, and they're like, thank you, I needed to hear that. Or I love these, keep it up. And that keeps me going to whatever hate that might be chattering around. I don't know, fortunately I haven't had any of that directly.
Right.
But then that's what, if they're going to talk behind your back, great, let them talk.
What's the saying? Like someone's opinion about you is not your business. That's how I view it.
Yeah.
Like what someone thinks about me is really not my business.
Totally.
Like if they don't like me, they keep it to themselves. Good. I don't need to hear it. But you want to bring it to me, then I'm willing to sit down and talk about it.
Yes. I'm right there with you.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
And I feel like in today's society, it's so much more comfortable for people to automatically assume what they think you are instead of giving you a chance.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest thing with this podcast is, are you just going to stick me in a box because of the name of it? Or are you going to actually sit down and really listen to the content that I'm putting out?
Yeah. And I love the saying, I had a client tell me a while back about assumptions, right? I'm sure you know what it is, that assumptions make an ass out of you and I.
Yeah.
You know, and that sticks with me. And so when I find myself making assumptions, I was like, hold on, I don't know.
You catch yourself.
Yeah, I don't know. I can be curious. I love curiosity.
Same.
Yep. It removes judgment. It removes the emotional aspect. It allows me to kind of think a little more clearly.
Yes.
Allows me to then be like, cool, what does this mean for me? How am I going to respond? How am I going to move forward from that? And whatever is coming my way with it.
Now, I've got a good question for you.
Tell me.
Being in the sex therapy realm, has it healed any parts of you? Like helping other people when you're giving advice? Are you sitting there listening to your own advice saying, man, that's something that I can actually play out in my own personal life? You know,
absolutely.
A lot of people think therapists need their own therapist. And I think therapists do have their own therapist, right?
Yep, we do.
So
we're encouraged to do so.
Yeah. And so in your specific niche line of work, are you teaching yourself while you're teaching others?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Very much so.
And I think that's so beautiful.
Thank you. I do too.
Yeah.
I feel like that makes me a good clinician because then I understand these things deeper, or I'm implementing it, I'm living it.
Right.
I can speak more confidently on it.
Right.
Right. My education is phenomenal in that sense. Like you learn all these things, experiencing it is different, executing it yourself. You know, like I will read a book or a podcast before I prescribe it to a client.
Right.
Because then if I'm just doing it blindly, then what do I know?
Right.
Nothing compared to like what they may pick up, and they're going to educate me. Okay, then that's a role reversal. What am I doing in that chair?
Yes.
You know? So for example, I did TMS, which I am a very big advocate of.
What is that?
It's transcranial magnetic stimulation.
Okay.
Yeah. So Gia Healthcare over here in Newport is a great spot that I had it done, and I do maintenance over there.
Okay.
it helps with anxiety, ADHD, OCD. A lot of folks who are in treatment centers go for addiction.
Okay.
Yeah. So what it does is there's 2 protocols, one for the frontal lobe, one for the back, and like it will send zaps here. So this helps with the OCD, all that sort of stuff.
Wow.
Back here is the anxiety, stress. Yeah.
Like fight or flight?
Yeah. And it slows it down.
Okay.
Right? So the tapping is like a little metronome. I'm like tap, 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 tap. And so I'm a big proponent of holistic approaches, right? So something like TMS in conjunction with talk therapy. Mm-hmm. And so it's been really helpful because my commitment and willingness to see how it can be effective,
right,
I feel like was really helpful.
Right. So one of the questions that I actually want to ask you is, with Barry's, I know is it predominantly female clientele that come in and take Barry's classes, or is it a mixture of men and women?
Mixture of men and women.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you dealt with any female clients that have, like, Barry's has been their safe haven during their divorces? Have you worked with women going through like traumas in life and noticed that fitness and trauma connection and how fitness can propel you through the trauma?
That's a great question.
That was a big thing in my life, was fitness.
So for me personally, no.
Okay.
Right. I think maybe once people, if they follow me on Instagram or I've addressed it over the mic or whatever, that I am a therapist as well. However, that may be brought up.
Okay.
Again, it's that theory of identity, like me starting to talk more about therapy on socials just to let people know, like, hey, I do more than just berries.
Right.
I do more than just take these pictures for fun.
Right.
I'm a therapist.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
I think this is my career.
Right.
At that point, then people, this is where it can get kind of messy, where it's like friends or clients alike who, you know, once they find out a friend's doctor or a friend's therapist, they ask all those questions after.
Yes. Because then they feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
That comfortability factor is there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's not so much that people have told me like, hey, like this has been really helpful for me through a divorce or a tough time specifically.
Right.
Maybe in session with clients, sure. But at least in my year at Barry's, nothing like that yet.
Okay.
But we're just getting started. I think, again, as I open the door more and more to what I do as a therapist and the work that I, you know, that is involved with it, that I think people can, again, going back to that comfortability, will hopefully or may feel more comfortable, you know, to express that, you know, letting me know, or whoever they want to share that, hey, that this has been a really, like you mentioned, a safe haven or a place for me to disconnect.
Right.
But reconnect to myself.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Like I do talk a lot about being present, you know, in the red room as well, which is what we call the Barry's workout room, is the red room. It's called the red room. And you can be present while being active.
You definitely can.
And I look at workouts personally as iron therapy.
I feel like
it's a
working
mental
out
recess.
for me just calms my brain and actually causes me to focus better.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a lot of science indicating that and backing that to let you know, like, hey, if you're stressed, you have an anxious mind, walk.
Yeah.
Move your body.
Yes.
Relax that.
Yes.
Come back into your body and stop messing around or perseverating or being lost up here.
Right.
Because it's so easy to do.
No, it is.
When we sit here, we go to our default and then we just start thinking about whatever it is that's bothering us.
You start like rabbit holing. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Either future tripping or spiraling, whatever it may be.
Yep.
Instead of just be like, hey, I'm enjoying this moment. You know, it's really great to be here with you. I love the flowers. I love the candle, all that sort of stuff that you may notice and then be like, hey, I'm living in the now.
Right.
It's interesting that tales all the time.
Yeah.
TV shows, books, songs, whatever, talk about that.
Yep.
Just be present, touch grass.
Yes. I'm all about grounding
learned?
myself.
You know? Yeah.
I love going and laying on grass.
Me too.
It's just, they always say, just ground yourself back into the earth, you know, become one more with nature.
Yeah.
I mean, I just like camping, going to the beach.
I just got back from Yosemite. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just amazing what it does for your soul. It's so healing.
Yeah, I agree.
You know? So I just want to say thank you so much for being here.
Yeah,
and
thanks for having me.
I would love to have you back on the podcast.
It'd be a pleasure.
And talk about your dating experiences.
How much time you got for that?
I would open a full
that
hour
might be like a
that.
3-episode series.
I think it would be amazing.
And some.
I think we would have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
So thanks, Taylor.
Yeah, you're
I really
welcome. Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Yeah, likewise.